We
Yes,
have
yesterday
discussed
only.
that you will record it is fine, but sometimes there's a glitch, and ultimately I get it after 2 days. So being a TV man, kindly enable it. You will send it to me, of course you will, but as a backup, both for you and for me, I want to record it. So I've sent you the record request, kindly enable it.
Yes, sir, I've did that.
Okay.
If it's available to you, it's done by my side. I have made you co-hosts of the speaking.
Okay. Okay. So it is showing me that I can pause or stop recording, but I am not seeing the
Because I have
record.
I've started the recording by my end, sir.
Okay. And you are Tamanna speaking.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tamanna, what is your mobile number?
It's 859
859
555
555
81
81
88.
88. 859 555 8188. I am
Yes,
at
sir.
99109 48789. In any way, it's there in the recording, you'll be able to see it. But if you note it down, it'll be better so that we can share the recording.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, yes. Okay, fine. It's very fine,
And
sir.
obviously, you will edit this out, so that will happen. And it is a weakness in my understanding that I didn't realize that it will be basically only a recording. So anyway, no issues on that. So whenever you say we are ready to start, so that when you have to clip your recording, you'll be able to clip it from there. Yeah. Again, the recording button is not visible to me. It is telling me the meeting is being recorded at your end. Okay. I am not seeing anyways, let it continue. You only do it, so fine. Yeah, we can start whenever you say. We are 2 minutes behind schedule now.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this pivotal session under the United Nations Human Rights Council Committee at the Chanakya Diplomatic Summit 2025, being organized by the Chanakya Policy and Research Foundation. Today, our focus is modern slavery reimagined, the issue of human trafficking in a changing globalized world. Human trafficking is not just a crime, it is one of the gravest human rights violations of our era, affecting millions across borders. With globalization, while opportunities for connectivity have grown, so too have the sophisticated networks of exploitation, from forced labor to cyber led trafficking. The challenge before the international community is to recognize trafficking not merely as a criminal justice issue, but as a multi-dimensional crisis tied to poverty, conflict, gender inequality, migration, and even emerging technologies. To guide us through the complex issue, we are privileged to have with us Brigadier Sanjay Agarwal sir, Sena Medal and Bar, a decorated Indian Army officer and thought leader. He has served as Security Advisor to the Ministry of Home Affairs, Advisor to the Government of Seychelles, and President of the Services Selection Board. Twice awarded by the President of India for gallantry, Brigadier Sanjay Agarwal sir is also a global speaker on geopolitics, international relations, and human rights. With his unique blend of field experience, policy insight, and international engagement, he is exceptionally placed to offer us a holistic view of modern slavery and human trafficking in today's volatile global order. As we engage, let us reflect on a few key questions. How has globalization reshaped trafficking networks? What role should international institutions like the UNHRC play in protecting the most vulnerable? And importantly, How can states, civil society, and individuals reimagine solutions that go beyond enforcement, focusing instead on prevention, rehabilitation, and long term systemic change? With these thoughts, I invite Brigadier Sanjay Agarwal sir to share his insights on the reimagined dimensions of human trafficking and the global responsibility we collectively shoulder. Sir, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Amber. Good morning, everyone. I am delighted to be here with you, and I will share my thoughts on United Nations Human Rights Council, UNHRC, which we will refer to as the HRC, Modern Slavery Reimagined, Combating Human Trafficking in the Age of Migration and Conflict. I hope you can see the title slide that I have put on. Yes, no, please.
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, modern slavery is one of the most urgent human rights issues of our time. Human rights means that every person deserves freedom, dignity, and the opportunity to safely shape their own future. But for millions around, these rights are stolen through exploitation and trafficking. Together, students, let us explore how modern slavery impacts lives, why it matters to each one of us, and how youth voices like yours can truly drive change today and tomorrow when you are in positions of influence and authority. My goal in this session, therefore, is to empower you all to think constructively about creating humane, collaborative, and sustainable solutions. To raise your awareness, foster critical thinking, and inspire a collaborative, humane response. Let me start by giving you a brief overview. What is the United Nations Human Rights Council, UNHRC, which we will call the HRC? And why is this theme important today? The UNHRC is an intergovernmental body within the UN system. It is made up of about 47 member states from all regions of the world, and its principal mission is to promote and protect human rights everywhere for all people, reviewing, investigating, and addressing violations wherever they occur globally. So the UNHRC acts as a global watchdog, advising on major rights issues like freedom of expression, equality, protection from discrimination, and importantly, combating forms of exploitation such as modern slavery and human trafficking. The Council regularly evaluates the human rights records of the UN member states, makes recommendations, and drives reforms wherever required. So the theme, modern slavery in the age of migration and conflict, is critically important today as millions of people face heightened vulnerability, exacerbated due to war, displacement, economic hardship, and power imbalances. The HRC is central in mobilizing countries to collaborate, update laws, and strengthen protections to address these rapidly evolving threats. So, students, please note that with the so-called end of traditional colonialism, slavery did not end. It has also evolved and it still persists, affecting millions globally. Many believe that slavery ended with the historical abolition movements, but the reality is that it still persists, just that it is in new and often hidden forms. Today, modern slavery includes forced labor, debt bondage, sexual exploitation, trafficking. And these practices can trap everyone, men, women, and children, in cycles of abuse and vulnerability. Estimates suggest that over 40 million people are affected worldwide. Victims can be found in affluent cities, in poor slums, in war zones, refugee camps, farmlands, and factories, virtually everywhere. They are often ignored by, and they are sometimes invisible to us, the general society. Understand this. They are ignored often, and worse, they are often invisible to us, and therefore they are lacking further the rights or the protection. The social inequalities, discrimination, and crises like pandemics or armed conflicts continue to fuel the exploitation. Human traffickers take advantage of people's desperation for safety, income, dignity, and they use coercion, threats, or fraud. Recognizing and combating this evolved slavery is a pressing human rights challenge the world must face together. And you are aware of these unfolding human tragedies very starkly in the Gaza Strip of Palestine, in the Ukraine area, and some parts of Africa as well. So now, since this is your second session, I was told that you had one session which was scheduled on 11th August. I will very briefly touch upon the few points that are in the slide in front of you on the aspects of session 1, which is reimagining modern slavery in a globalized world, before I move on to session 2, which would be covered by me in detail. And there I will cover the gaps in protection, the rights, responsibility, and the implementation aspects. That is a core issue. But before that, what you would have seen in session 1 with your domain expert would be aspects which included the fact that modern slavery today involves exploitation for personal or commercial gain through coercion, threats, deceptions, forms that include human trafficking, forced labor, or debt bondage. You put a person in debt and the person is forever your slave because that person cannot pay back your debt. The second aspect is conflict, displacement, and migration. They create opportunities for traffickers. Any crisis is an opportunity for traffickers because vulnerable people would seek safety and economic stability. Thirdly, social, economic, and gender inequalities make certain groups more vulnerable. So all these inequalities make people more vulnerable to different forms of slavery and exploitation. Crisis situations like pandemics, we saw the COVID, wars, economic downturns, they worsen risks by weakening the support systems and the rule of law. And finally, I want to share with you that when you want to reimagine modern slavery in a globalized world, please understand that this involves updating our definitions of connected terms, starting with the definition of slavery, and updating and modernizing our responses to these threats, also by recognizing hidden forms of the problem and the shifting global patterns. Now, having said that, let me now move to session 2. I hope the session 2 slide is now visible to you. Yes, no, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So now we are moving on to the aspect of the gaps in protection and the aspects of the rights, responsibilities, and implementations. So why I have listed these points, I have got about 19 points in 2 slides. And why I am showing the slide is because you are still school, college, UG and PG students, satsang acha tha. You will listen to it, like it, and you will note down 5% of what I spoke about. This way, if you take screenshots of these slides And in any case, the organizers are recording it. It would be available to you, and the transcript would be available to you. You will be able to genuinely benefit from the research I have done to address you students. It is my firm belief that you young men and women, I don't call you children, you young men and women are the future of our society, our community, our country, and of the world. And therefore, the effort that I have put in putting these things together, I find that if you note them, act on them, it is well worth the effort. So the first thing that I want to tell you is that national and international institutions play a vital role in protecting victims. But they face challenges. Laws may exist, but the enforcement is generally weak or inconsistent. International conventions like the UN Trafficking Protocol, they provide frameworks. But how good is the implementation in different countries, communities, societies? Monitoring and accountability of these is critical. The second point is that the lack of coordination between governments, agencies, and communities hinders effective action. Traffickers exploit border gaps between nations. They exploit the slow legal processes and the poor tracking systems. The next point I want to talk about is limited capacity. And therefore, when I was the advisor, we were focusing a lot on capacity building in every sphere. If Bharat has to be Atmanirbhar, if Bharat has to be a Vishwa Guru, if Bharat is to rightfully occupy its place in the Committee of Nations, we have to do capability enhancement, for which capacity enhancement. Many countries lack resources to train police, social workers, or border officials, or even survivors struggling to get help. And therefore, the struggle continues because of this limited capacity. Sometimes political will is lacking. Some leaders prioritize migration control or economic interests over human rights. See what is happening about the illegal immigration from Bangladesh into India, by the Rohingyas into India. Where was the political will in our country, in the state of Bangladesh? In the state of West Bengal, sorry. The victims are the resident people who are swamped by the illegal immigrants. And the same phenomena is happening in Europe. Typically in Southern Europe, you find countries like Italy are taking a very hard stand. In the north, you find UK is already swamped. See Birmingham, France. There are 752 areas where there are major problems, as said by the French authorities in parliament. So the problem is that the political will is lacking. Protection should come before prosecution. And the policies must center around the victim to provide them shelter, safety, support. And not just that we punish the traffickers. It has to be a holistic, solution-oriented approach. Ethical concerns are there when border security policies or detention measures, they create new risks. Because there are such dangers there, then these people, 100 of them get into a boat which could take only 40 people and the boat capsizes. There are major problems. So new problems are being created because of enforcement of border security policies. And of course, we have a media which will highlight these things which are no fault of any government, but you are put in a bad light. So there is a problem. Because the journey was dangerous, exploitation was rampant, there was a problem, the boat capsized, and now you are being asked why you didn't help. Next is that ethical concerns apart, there are social norms that can perpetuate exploitation. We are stigmatizing survivors, blaming victims, or tolerating abusive work conditions. So whilst I, as a businessman, if I employ an illegal labor and I pay him half the authorized wage, I am making a quick buck. That illegal laborer has no option because that laborer doesn't have documents. But what is happening is that the problem is continuing. It has to be addressed. Why are there illegal laborers? What can we do to stop them? And providing dignity and a human outlet to holistically address the issue. Supply chains, point number 8. Companies are still relying on forced labor in production. The classic example is China. They have indentured labor from many communities, including the Muslims of Uyghur. And these forced labor made to stay together, made to work with the minimal fundamental rights available to them, lower down the cost of production. But the human cost is very high, which is why years ago, America had sanctioned this and put a ban on purchasing Chinese cotton made with indentured Uyghur labor. What is therefore required is better transparency on the part of the host country, better oversight by regulatory authorities, and accountability. The next point is about legal loopholes and inconsistent definitions. Some laws don't recognize forced marriage. Some laws don't recognize child soldiering as a crime, domestic servitude as a slavery, and therefore these inconsistent definitions and legal loopholes leave gaps in protection. The criminal justice shortcomings. They are systemic shortcomings. Corruption, slow trials, fear of retribution. If you are a witness, you will be threatened. Don't you go and give your statement. Otherwise, we will do this to you or to your family. Retribution. Inadequate reparations. And many victims never find justice or support. The next point is about prevention frameworks and survivor-centric approaches. These are still emerging. They are not settled yet. A lot more needs to be done across sectors, across countries. See the problem between Mexico and America? So it's not just the global south. It's not just the developing world. America, Mr. President Trump had said we will build a huge wall. Community level solutions are required. Local leaders, teachers, and you, the youth, can help spot warning signs, inform the relevant authorities, offer protection within the community, and build trust. And therefore, these community local leaders, their role is critical, but then they are under-resourced. They do not have adequate resources in terms of funding, influence, voice to be able to do what they know correctly needs to be done. recognition of intersectionality, which means the meeting point of multiple stress points, which are all collectively exploited by the traffickers. Gender, age, disability, ethnic influence, vulnerability. These are different problems which all meet at one place, which meeting point, the intersectionality, is exploited by the trafficker. This needs to be recognized by us and addressed by us. The next point I want to say is about global migration policies. They sometimes criminalize the victim instead of protecting. And I have often said this in the case of the Pakistan-sponsored terrorism in India. Often the victim is portrayed as the perpetrator. The community or that village or those people who are suffering are shown actually as the cause and the promoter of that problem. What a travesty of justice. Think about this. Firstly, you are being troubled. People in your family have been threatened. Somebody has been exploited and abused. And now you are told you are the problem for your problem, not the gunda. You are the problem for your problem. You are the cause, not the gunda. Think about it. Criminalizing the victim instead of protecting the victim. The next point is technology brings opportunities and risks. Social media. So whilst technology and a lot of this WhatsApp and Twitter and messages on popular gaming apps, which the agencies cannot monitor, they are used as the communication channel. And by and large, you find that the violator, the problem people, the perpetrators, the traffickers, they are using technology well. The law enforcement agencies and we on the solution side are slow in adopting this technology. Yes, it has been adopted to share like we are sharing today. And many of you will not be able to attend physically. So there is a recording which you will be able to see, etc. So what are we doing? We are using technology to get the positive side also, to raise the awareness. Similarly, technology can be used to report the abuses as well by whistleblower policies, etc., where you are not exposed as being the person who raised the alarm rightly. The 16th point on the slide, poverty and lack of access to education. This clearly, repeatedly perpetuates and exacerbates the vulnerability of people. They are uneducated or less educated and they are poor. But they have to fill their stomach and they will do anything. This is exploited by the traffickers. So, what is the solution? We have to address the socio-economic roots of the problem. The socio-economic roots, so that basically every person gets enough to eat. I wonder how many of you are aware that we are a population in India of 140 crore people. I want you to Google so that rather than me telling you how many of us, huge number, are getting free ration from the government as a government of India policy. It is to address this problem, the socio-economic roots, so that the government is giving you certain categories free ration, certain categories subsidized ration, and all of us can go to the PDS shops, the public distribution system, ration ki dukaan. This is addressing the socio-economic roots of the problem. पर there also there is bribery. वहां पे भी गलत काम हो रहे हैं. The next point is about survivor empowerment. People who survive the human trafficking trauma, they need to be listened to. And they will help in equipping other survivors in policy reform, awareness campaigns, and helping the government create these policies, create these awareness reforms, and rehabilitation initiatives. And you will find, those of you who get into this, that cross-sector collaboration between governments, NGOs, business houses, and grassroots level communities. This cross-sector collaboration is what is needed to address what is clearly a complex, multifaceted socio-economic, political, ideological problem which has cross-border exploitation. And this reform, lastly, means systemic change. Not just new laws, but also new attitudes, social norms, and a persistent advocacy of the desired end result by all of us. It is only then that we will be able to address these gaps in protection. That is the important part here. And now coming to the last session, which was in your initial thing told to me that there would be a separate session, but I thought very briefly, like I've given you five points from my thoughts on session 1, so another 5 points on session 3, which is not my focus area, but just to complete the picture on this topic, because I've spoken on many places and in many schools and colleges on the model UN and the mock UN conferences, either as a chief guest or answering questions at the end of it for all the students, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So in your session 3 schedule, you will have this conference on 27-28 September, and there I want you on 27-28 September, which will be held. This is a prelude for that. So here I want to tell you, education and awareness empower people. That is how our people are migrating to where they think they will get better opportunities. Whether they actually do or not is a different story. People are going to Canada, Australia, and then they are badly suffering. Firstly, they have given illegally lakhs of rupees over here to go. Now they can't tell their parents, आपने तो जमीन गिरवी रखवा के हमें भेजा, घर का सोना और जमीन बेच के भेजा, वहां पर ये प्रॉब्लम है. So now they are stuck. So education within India, India is a great place to be. Please remember, we are a huge market. We are 1/6 of the whole world. We have every major religion of the world. We have every major religion of the world. The world's biggest companies send their employees here for training in corporate cross-cultural behavior. I teach international HR and cross-cultural behavior at MBA. What is the best training area in the world? India. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, Jain, Buddha, every major religion of the world is here. Every major culture of the world is here. From hardcore beef eating in Kerala to hardcore non-beef eating in the Hindu belt to wearing veshti, that is a dhoti and vest, to wearing suit boot, to touching parents' feet, to hi mom, hi dad. The entire spectrum is in India. So India is a great place to be before you think of flying out. Technology can support prevention. I have mentioned it to you. Technology is used by both sides, by the bad people to influence people to do bad things or to blackmail them. They are using technology. The good side, you and I, we can also use technology, apps, helplines, mapping tools to locate victims, report abuses, and coordinate responses. And there are people who are doing it. The global response is essential. Countries must share intelligence because this human trafficking is trans-border. So countries must share intel, harmonize laws, and learn from the best practices to outpace trackers. We have to be one step ahead of them. We are not in most cases. Community level action is very important. I have stressed on this. Ultimately, however good an initiative, however tech strong, however government strong, it has to be done by people on ground. Look long back, Chipko Andolan, Save Trees Andolan, Save Rivers, Namami Gange, Swachh Bharat. None of these can succeed unless you and I make them succeed. You and I can make them succeed. You and I can make them fail. Community level action is very important. It mobilizes local leaders and you and me. We are civil society to protect vulnerable individuals and hold the concerned institutions accountable. And therefore, we have to empower our youth, and separately, we have to empower survivors. They act as advocates and agents of change, shaping strategies for the future which are holistic and compassionate. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have given you a very heavy dose. I have spoken non-stop and I have given you a total of 29 points. Each point, if you speak even for 5 minutes, that is 2 hours plus. 29 points, 5 plus 20 plus 5 into 5 minutes, 145 minutes, which is 2 hours 25 minutes. It's a heavy dose. Think about it. And I'm sure in your schools, your teaching faculty and your mentors and your seniors would dwell upon these issues because I don't take these lightly. You are our future. It is for me to help you help my country, your country, our country. And therefore, to end, let me say that modern slavery is a deep-rooted global challenge. But this is a challenge that we can fight and we can overcome, we can win. I urge you students to understand that awareness, empathy, and action starts today with you. When you listen to this, absorb it, think about it, and start working. इस सपने को मैं साकार करूंगा करूंगी. Ask questions, share knowledge, and stand up for every person's right to freedom and dignity. Remind everyone that a rights-based, human-centered approach can end this exploitation, and that your young voices are essential for a just future for all of us. So thank you, everyone. It has been a pleasure sharing my thoughts with you all. You are the futures of society. And if there are any specific thoughts, comments, or questions, now is the opportunity. We will take these on. And thereafter, it is my job to wish you all the best in your endeavor and say Jai Hind to you. So now is the time if there are any thoughts, comments for your discussion or questions, anything.
Thank you, sir, for that thought-provoking and deeply insightful address. Truly, it was deeply enlightening. It has provoked food for thought, and you have reminded us that modern slavery is not a relic that is from the past. It is an evolving challenge of our globalized age. What stands out from your talk is how trafficking today is not just about coercion, but it is also about systems of exploitation embedded in migration flows, global supply chains, conflict zones, and even the digital space, as you very clearly brought out. You have also highlighted that the pressing need for a multi-stakeholder approach, wherein the governments, the international institutions, corporations, or for that matter, communities act in synergy. If there is one key takeaway from this session, it is that combating trafficking is not only about stricter laws or broader controls, but it is also about human dignity, social justice, and shared responsibility. On that note, I would now like to open the floor for questions and reflections from our delegates. Uh, I would also request the delegates to please keep your interventions brief and focus so that we can accommodate multiple perspectives. So the floor is now open for questions.
Come on, somebody has to unmute Gulaya Progressive. So I think it's time for reflection. Nobody's got a question. That is understandable sometimes. But if you have any thoughts, what you feel about it, please say so. So Gulaya is unmuted and I saw a teacher pointing to some student to say something. Yes, come on. Very good. I know your heartbeat is 140 right now. No issues. Please speak. So I'm stopping the sharing now. Now we can see each other better. Yes. Amber, you have to check so we
Yes,
don't waste people's time.
yes, right.
And
I
if
would,
genuinely there is no issue to be discussed, we can terminate and end the proceedings.
right, sir. I would request Gulaya Progressive Public School, if any student has any particular question or doubt, please come forward and then ask.
Okay, if somebody is saying that please ask students to type, I'm okay if a student speaks. Don't worry, English or Hindi or even Punjabi, not a problem.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Just come forward. Can you please come forward? You would be more audible.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I would like to ask if there is any human rights violation, how do we approach, which institution we should approach?
Okay. So, what is your name?
Sir, my name is Ayush.
So, Ayush has asked a very good grassroots level question. If there is a human rights violation, which organization should we approach? Now, that is a genuine ground thing. And the answer is equally simple. You will not know And therefore you need to tell the nearest police station, police thana, or police post or police outpost. When I say you need to, you may only tell your chacha or tau or the बड़े भैया गली में आगे रहते हैं बड़े भैया को बता दो बड़े भैया करवा देंगे. So the aim in the community is to raise the awareness. देखो वहां ऐसा हो रहा है. And as it goes up within seconds, भैया देखो वहां ऐसा हो रहा है. So भैया will send 2 people on a bike. Somebody will tell the police. There are specialist agencies as you go up from the district. There are people from there. So you are concerned as students to inform the elders of society, number one. And number two, the police. The police knows what to do in these situations. Even a constable, if that constable doesn't know, he will ask the sub-inspector or the inspector in charge. Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Great.
Right. Sir, a question has been sent to us by a student named Bhanu, who is present over there but facing some issues with the mic. His question is, sir, in your experience, how has globalization and the rise of technology, especially the dark web and social media, reshaped the networks of human trafficking? And
Say the question again.
yes, sir. Sir, in your experience, how has globalization and the rise of technology, especially the dark web and social media, reshaped the networks of human trafficking?
I touched upon this, and this is a specific question going into this. I am very happy that Bhanu has asked this question. How has globalization, dark web, and social media affected trafficking adversely? The point is, average people don't need to know about the dark web. But the fact is that in many top schools, the drugs which are coming in the form of candy. One place last week, the news was the drug was in the chutney. So the children are eating a patty, and to some children, he is giving that different chutney which is laced with a drug, and you are getting addicted to it without knowing that you are having a drug. So the dark web is where people are procuring things which are not available on the normal web. So dark web is a strict no-no. Computers and mobiles have options of parental control which are not known to parents but which must be exercised through the help of the dukandar, through the shopkeeper. Look, please put these kinds of parental controls on what websites can be looked at. So that is as far as websites. Second is social media. It's a boon and a bane. You require WhatsApp because your class homework or your tuition news is coming on a WhatsApp group. Last minute changes and tomorrow's schedule is coming in your school class WhatsApp group. But that WhatsApp is also creating a problem. That is where I notice my grandson is 12 years old. My children have put that you will have access to a landline phone. All news will come on the mobile phone with the parents and will be given to you. When you need to access something for homework, we will show those websites can be opened and the internet switched off. So the child cannot go, he's within those 10 open website pages which answer the question. So he comes to me. I also want to know about this aspect of music. So once I know he's at there, I'll show him, show me this instrument and let me hear the sound. How is so and so instrument different? For example, he asked me, how is tabla different from a mridang? Mridang is also like a tabla. So I had to do the internet to show him the difference in sound. How is sarod different from sitar? So the answer is you cannot do without internet. So don't deprive the child. As the child grows older, a deprived child will fall further and deeper. But teach the child responsible internet, that there is bad. So don't experiment. Don't go there. एक बार देखता तो हूं. It is too dangerous. So dark web and social media. Dark web is a strict no. Social media is use with responsibility. How responsible were we as children? So please don't be too strict with your children. But you have to explain to them. And see, in the neighborhood, this child, they were sending photos, and somebody was then trying to do a soft blackmail. No photos. Disable cameras. You went on so-and-so trip. You were jumping in the waterfall pool, and now somebody has taken your photo. Be very careful of all these things. Abroad, when we take photos as a tourist, I have to wait till there is no other tourist in the background, so that I do not inadvertently invade his or her privacy. And especially on the beach, where we are in chote kapde, short clothes. Be very careful if you are taking photographs, and also be aware if somebody else is taking photographs, actually that person might be zooming on to some other area or person of interest. So you have to grow up and be mature about it. It is dangerous. Very good question. Thank you.
Right, sir, absolutely. And sir, we have one more question. Nishtha, a student of Masters in International Relations, has just typed in the chat box. Many governments
Yeah,
tend,
I have seen it in the chat box. I will address it.
right,
So, Nishta, MA International Relations, many governments tend to approach trafficking largely as a law and order issue. So, I said it is much more than a law and order issue. It's a societal issue. In your view, how can we balance security measures with human rights and rehab needs? Okay. So, you are talking of trafficking. Also, we need to talk of deliberate illegal immigration. That is what India is facing also, and in much larger scale. People are coming into India from Bangladesh, from Myanmar, because India is a success story. They are oppressed in their country and they feel their future is better in India. Like some Indians want to go to Canada or Australia for the same reason. And there is a big industry of trying to show that you are from a persecuted minority and therefore your visa application should be progressed on priority. The fact is, it is not just a law and order issue as far as trafficking is concerned. Why is trafficking happening? Because of the poverty and lack of education. So we have to address those issues. The trafficking and with it the illegal immigration, where I am wanting to quietly go without a valid visa, or I go there and overstay my valid visa, which is a common problem in America and in the developed world. Pakistani sports persons go to England to play cricket, etc. And after the tour, डुबकी मार जाते हैं, छुप जाते हैं, वहाँ गुमशुदा व्यक्ति की रिपोर्ट दर्ज हो गई. That chap is continuing to live here, there. Abhi, when they said during Op Sindoor, we found thousands of Pakistanis, thousands, living in India for 10, 15, 20 years. They have had children, children have had education, some of them have even got jobs, and they are illegal in India. So it's a major issue. And yes, the deterrent has to be very strong, the law and order angle, the human rights angle. Let me be very blunt with you. Am I bothered? This is a terrorist who has killed 4 students or 4 people in the railway station. Am I more bothered about the human rights of my students, of my people on the railway station, or I am more bothered about the human rights of the terrorist? I'm being very blunt. I've been the security advisor at the Home Ministry. So it's all very good. Some lawyers for 10 times the amount of money will fight the case for the human rights of the terrorist. Kasab ko biryani khila rahe the hum. Kasab was the only man, Muslim Pakistani, with a kaleva on their this thing. And the thread was Hindu terror. Hindu terror. Thank God. Tukaram Omble from the police. He is a former retired soldier from the army. He died but caught Ajmal Kasab alive. And what did we do for human rights? We served him biryani. उसको बिरयानी खानी है. मेरे देश के लोगों को रोटी नहीं मिल रही है. So I'm sorry, human rights are important, but I have to see them in perspective. Human rights means I should give you enough calories to survive. Human rights does not mean that my people are starving. My country is my family. उनके पास रोटी नहीं है और तेरे को मैं बिरयानी खिलाऊं. I don't agree with this. I'm making my view very clear. Human rights are important. I have to look after them. But if I can look after them, I will prioritize the human rights of Indians first and terrorists thereafter. I hope I have very frankly answered your question, Nishtha.
Right, sir.
Yeah, next.
Sir, even I have one question that I very curiously wanted to ask.
Yes.
Sir, having seen conflict environments very closely, do you think wars and instability make trafficking an inevitable byproduct? Or is it more about governance failures than conflict itself?
It is both. Take Ukraine. There is a problem in Ukraine, which is the problem created by America due to expansion of NATO. Will India expect China, will allow China to put military in Nepal? No. Nepal is a buffer state between India and China. Tibet was a buffer. That is a different story. I will not go into that. So what happens, your question, is it human trafficking? Is it also a government problem and what? Therefore, you say your question again, so I'll be answering it focused.
Right, sir. Sir, my
Nishtha,
question
I have
was,
replied you on chat box also.
yes, sir. My question was, do you think wars and instability make trafficking an inevitable byproduct?
Okay. So war makes displacement a byproduct. When there is war, people don't want to be in the danger zone, so they are displaced. Displaced means I am leaving. That means there is uncertain future. Some people will come from the Jammu Kashmir border and they will settle in Punjab, Haryana, elsewhere. That is displacement. Some people will become refugees in their own country, like the Kashmiri Pandits from 1990-91. The third is what you are talking about, trafficking. There are 5,000 people wanting to move away from Ukraine. Somebody says, I will arrange your safe move out of Ukraine and into XYZ country. But you have to give me 10,000 rupees. He doesn't have 10,000 rupees, so he gives some gold ornament or he gives some other favor from the family. This is trafficking. Now those people are sitting in that mal gadi ka dabba where this trafficker says, They are forced to sign papers which they don't know what they are. So they have been by fraud told that we will get you to safety, and in between this you have to work for us for 10 days to repay back, because our fees you have no money. So that is the start of trafficking. How much will government do, and which government? Ukraine government is not doing anything. The host country balance of EU, will they look after their own taxpayers are objecting? I am paying tax. You are using it for the rest of the country. I feel little bad, but okay. Now you are using my tax money to build a house for immigrants, illegal immigrants, or human traffickers which were caught from Bangladesh. Why my tax money? We are not that evolved that he is also or she is also a human being. So there is a problem. Which government? And when it comes to breaking rules, the same lawyers who are fighting the cases of these human trafficked people and for their human rights, how much have they contributed? Very little. The point is, look at their own houses. They are so big. Then, so human trafficking, government is a easy whipping boy. However, the problem is more complex, and sometimes if you see how Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, the Prime Minister of Singapore for 32 years, he's dead now, God bless his soul, you have to have a strong government, strong decisions. My first priority is Indians. If some Bangladeshis were being trafficked into India, I am ready to send them back. Who will pay for their fare? If they were 5, 10, 100, 1,000, I may say I will pay. But what if there are 1,000 every week? Who will pay their fare? Train fare. And if they are from further away than airfare, who will pay? Those are the issues. Next, please.
Right, right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your all-encompassing perspective to my question and to all the questions that have been asked so far. These were the set of questions, sir. And on behalf of the Chanakya Policy and Research Foundation, I extend my deepest gratitude to you, sir, for enlightening us with your wisdom and experience. Today's session has reinforced that modern slavery and human trafficking are not just global conflicts and policy challenges, but moral questions that demand collective action. So, sir, it is our deepest gratitude to have you, sir.
Thank you all, and I wish you become strong, effective people in mitigating this scourge. Thank you. Bye bye. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind, sir.